Advisory Council gives final approval to the draft ordinance that seeks to amend International Crimes Tribunal Act. International Crimes Tribunal orders to complete investigation against 8 officials, including former police chief and NTMC Director General, within a month. President and Chief Advisor give separate messages as tomorrow marks Armed Forces Day, which will be celebrated amid various programs throughout the day with due respect. Inaugurating potato sale program under TCB in Karan Bazaar, Commerce Advisor says efforts underway to control prices of daily necessities by increasing supply in the markets. Fear of nuclear war increasing over Ukraine-Russia war and conflict in the Middle East. Russia begins production of mobile bomb shelters against nuclear bomb attacks. And Argentina beat Peru by 1-0 while Brazil draw with Uruguay in World Cup football qualifiers. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. I'm Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the details of those and other stories. The Council of Advisors has approved the draft of International Crimes Tribunal Amendment Ordinance 2024 subject to vetting. The approval was given at the meeting of the Advisory Council of the interim government for the first time at the Secretariat today. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus presided over the meeting. Members of the Advisory Council were present at the meeting. The meeting gave final approval to the drafts of the National Human Rights Commission Amendment Ordinance 2024 and the Bangladesh Law Officers Amendment Ordinance 2024. In a meeting, the Advisory Council took a policy and final decision to repeal the Special Provisions Act 2010 for rapid increase in supply of electricity and fuel. In this context, the draft of the necessary ordinance has been given final approval, subject to vetting of the Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs Division. The meeting also decided to celebrate the International Migrants' Day and the National Expatriates' Day together on December 18 every year. The meeting informed the Advisory Council that 1,261 crore and 5 lakh taka has been spent on the celebration of Mujibiyah, and the budget allocation in this regard has been cancelled from the fiscal year 2024-2025. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul briefed reporters after the meeting of the Advisory Council at the Foreign Service Academy in the evening. He said opinions of a large number of people, including legal experts, human rights activists, journalists, renowned foreign lawyers and human rights organizations were taken in drafting the ordinance.
উদ্যোগ গ্রহণ করার পর্যায়ে আমরা যতটা ব্যাপক সম্ভব মানুষের মতামত দিয়েছি। আমাদের দেশে যত আইন বিশেষজ্ঞ আছেন, মানবাধিকার কর্মী আছেন, সাংবাদিক আছেন, আমরা প্রায় 50 থেকে 60 জনকে ইনভাইট করেছিলাম। ওনারা এসেছেন, ওনাদের মতামত আমরা গ্রহণ করেছি ড্রাফটের উপর। তারপর আমরা একটা দেশি বিদেশি বিভিন্ন আইনজীবী, প্রসিদ্ধ আইনজীবী এবং হিউম্যান রাইটস অর্গানাইজেশনের কাছে পাঠিয়েছি। ইউনাইটেড নেশনসের যে হিউম্যান রাইটস ফোরাম আছে সেখানেও পাঠিয়েছি। সকল মতামতের ভিত্তিতে আমরা একটা ড্রাফট করেছি। করার পর আজকে এটা উপদেষ্টা পরিষদে উত্থাপন করা হয়েছিল মতামতের জন্য এবং এটা গৃহীত হয়েছে। তবে একটা খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় হয়েছে উপদেষ্টা পরিষদে। উপদেষ্টা পরিষদ মনে করেছে আমরা যে অ্যামেন্ডমেন্টটা করেছিলাম, আইনের অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট, সেখানে অর্গানাইজেশনকে শাস্তি দেওয়ার বিধান ছিল এবং আমাদের প্রস্তাবিত অ্যামেন্ডমেন্টে বলা হয়েছিল কোনো অর্গানাইজেশনকে শাস্তি দেওয়া যদি প্রয়োজন মনে করে, যদি মনে করে শাস্তি দেওয়া দরকার, তাহলে ট্রাইব্যুনাল শাস্তি দেওয়ার সুপারিশ করতে পারবে উপযুক্ত কর্তৃপক্ষের কাছে। তো আজকে আমাদের উপদেষ্টা পরিষদে আলোচনাতে বলা হয়েছে আমরা এই বিচারকে অন্য কোনো বিষয়ের সাথে সম্পর্কিত করতে চাই না। এই রাজনৈতিক দল বা কোনো সংগঠনকে নিষিদ্ধ করার প্রশ্ন আসলে এই আইনকে অযথাই প্রশ্নবিদ্ধ করার সুযোগ সৃষ্টি হবে। আমরা সেই সুযোগ দিতে চাই না। আমরা একদম ডিসেন্ট ওয়েতে, ফেয়ার ওয়েতে বিচারটা করতে চাই। এই জন্য প্রভিশনটা বাতিল করা হয়েছে। আরেকটা বিষয় হচ্ছে আমরা অনুভব করেছি কোনো রাজনৈতিক দল বা অন্য কোনো সংগঠন তাদের অপরাধমূলক কার্যক্রমের জন্য যদি নিষিদ্ধ করার প্রয়োজন হয়, যদি নিষিদ্ধ করার দাবি উঠে সমাজে, তাহলে আমাদের অন্যান্য আইন রয়েছে, সেই সমস্ত আইনে নিষিদ্ধ করার বিধান আছে। সন্ত্রাস দমন আইনে রয়েছে, নির্বাচনী আইনে রয়েছে, 1978 পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি অর্ডিন্যান্সে রয়েছে। কাজে এখানে এই বিধানটা নাই দেখে আমাদের সেই সুযোগ, জনমতের প্রতি, জনদাবির প্রতি শ্রদ্ধা জানিয়ে এই ধরনের কোনো পদক্ষেপ নেওয়ার সুযোগ আর থাকলো না, সেটা না। মানে এই যুদ্ধাপরাধ বিচার আইনে থাকলো না, কিন্তু অন্যান্য প্রচলিত আইনে দেশে রয়েছে। সেটা আমরা রাজনৈতিক ঐক্যমত হলে বিভিন্ন আমাদের জনদাবি আসে, সেটা পরে বিবেচনা করা হবে। এটা আইনের ভেতরে অন্তর্ভুক্ত বিষয় না।
Advisors Asif Mahmood Shojib Bhuiya and Mahfouz Alam answered questions from journalists at the briefing. Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam was present on the occasion. Briefing reporters at the Secretariat earlier, Cabinet Secretary Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rashid said the country's labour situation was discussed in detail during an unscheduled discussion at the Advisory Council meeting. President Mohammad Shahabuddin has urged the international community, including Canada, to solve the Rohingya problem. The President made the call when newly appointed High Commissioner of Canada to Bangladesh, Ajit Singh, presented his credentials to him at Bongo Bhavan this noon. On arrival at Bongo Bhavan, the new envoy was given Guard of Honour by a contingent of the President's Guard Regiment. President Mohammad Shahabuddin welcomed the new High Commissioner and said that Canada is one of the important development partners of Bangladesh. Mentioning the investment-friendly atmosphere prevailing in Bangladesh, the President urged the Canadian investors to invest in various potential sectors of Bangladesh. He also stressed on exchanging high-level visits to boost up trade and investment between the two countries. President Mohammad Shahabuddin said forcibly displaced Rohingyas are now a big challenge for Bangladesh. The President urged the international community to take strong action so that the Rohingyas can return to their motherland with dignity. At a briefing, President's Press Secretary Mohammad Jainal Abidin said that during the meeting, the new High Commissioner of Canada, Ajit Singh, sought the President's cooperation in discharging his duties. Senior Secretary of President's Office Nasimul Ghani, Military Secretary Major General Muhammad Adil Chaudhry and Foreign Secretary Jashimuddin were present. In the lawsuit filed on charges of crimes against humanity for mass killings in July and August, the International Crimes Tribunal has issued order to finish investigation by 1 month against 8 officials, including former IGP Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamun and former Director General of National Telecommunication Monitoring Centre, Major General retired Ziaul Ahsan. The court also issued order to keep the accused detained in jail in the lawsuit filed with the tribunal. The three-member International Crimes Tribunal, led by its chairman, Justice Muhammad Ghulam Murtaza Mojumdar, gave the order today. Chief Prosecutor of the tribunal, Muhammad Tajul Islam, argued in the court on behalf of the petition. Later, he said information on brutalities and barbarism carried out by the accused has been featured in the court. The Armed Forces Day will be observed tomorrow amid festivity and enthusiasm, marking the establishment of Army, Navy and Air Forces during the 1971 Liberation War. The day's program will begin with offering special dua after Fajr prayers at mosques in all the cantonments, naval and air force bases in the country, seeking divine blessings for the martyred members of the armed forces in 1971 and the well-being and prosperity of the nation and the armed forces, said an ISPR press release today. To mark the day, President Mohammad Shahabuddin, also the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Chief Advisor of the interim government, Professor Muhammad Yunus, delivered separate messages. In a message, the President recalled the memories of the 1971 martyrs, particularly the 7 recipients of the highest gallantry award, Bir Shreshto, and 3 million martyrs who sacrificed their lives in the Great War of Liberation for the motherland. Greeting the members of the Army, Navy and Air Force on the occasion of Armed Forces Day, Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus, in his message, paid homage to the martyrs of the armed forces along with other martyrs, those who sacrificed their lives for Bangladesh's independence. The Chief Advisor extended his gratefulness to the members of the armed forces for providing assistance to the civil administration in all activities, including the student labor mass uprising, and later handling the flood situation, providing security in industrial factories, improving the country's law and order situation, and recovering weapons. The President and the Chief Advisor will place the wreaths at the Sheikh Anirban at Dhaka Cantonment tomorrow morning. To mark the day, on behalf of the Chief Advisor, a reception will also be held at Senakunjo in Dhaka Cantonment at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Bangladesh Television will live telecast the program. Chief of the Constitution Reform Committee, Dr. Ali Riaz, has said the countrymen want to be assured that there would be no despot in future. He said this while delivering memorial speech titled "Wrote of the Rise of Despots" under Mirza Banu and Sirajul Islam Endowment Fund and Scholarship Distribution Function at Dhaka University in the capital today. Chairman of the Department of the History of Dhaka University, Professor Dr. Ashfaq Hussain, presided over the function, while Pro-Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Saima Haq Bidisha and Arts Faculty Dean Professor Dr. Muhammad Siddiq Rahman Khan spoke on the occasion. Speakers said the despots never emerge out of the blue. They slowly deceive people and grab all power. The mass media has failed to fulfill the aspirations of the people during July-August mass killing carried out by the previous fascist Awami League government. The view came at a discussion titled "Role of Media During July Mass Murder, Accountability and Reform Proposal" held at the National Press Club in the capital today. Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam attended the program as the chief guest. The Chief Advisor's Press Secretary stated that the mass media was suppressed in the last 15 years. At that time, many fascist statements were also prepared, he pointed out. Presided over by convener of the organization, Jainal Abidin Shishir, the discussion was addressed by Mass Media Reform Commission member Syed Abdal Ahmed and media personalities. Higher officials of the Election Commission have urged the Electoral Reform Commission to ensure independent work of the law enforcement forces during elections and create an atmosphere that media can publish neutral news. They made the call today in a meeting with the Electoral Reform Commission at the Election Commission Bhavan. Electoral Reform Commission Chief Badiul Alam Majumdar and Election Commission Secretary Shafiul Azim briefed media after the meeting. Badiul Alam Majumdar said that the Election Commission officials have suggested making the electoral rules and regulations more effective. The Election Commission Secretary said they shared their field experience with the Electoral Reform Commission. Officials from the Election Commission also gave the Reform Commission some reformation recommendations on how to maintain financial discipline and appoint secretary from the Election Commission. Anti-fascist student and people brought out a fascist coffin procession demanding banning of the political activities of the autocratic Awami League, Jatiya Party and their accomplices. Beginning from Dhaka University TSC premises, the procession went around various roads in the capital today. Earlier, at a brief rally, the leaders of the organization said that the killer Awami League and their collaborators should not be allowed to take part in the national election. Moreover, they should be put under trial on allegation of genocide. Muhammad Murad Islam, an injured in the anti-discrimination student movement, was sent to Vegthani Hospital in Thailand today for better treatment. A press release of the Health Ministry said the Biman Bangladeshi Airlines flight carrying Murad Islam left Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport this morning. Director General DG of the Health Directorate, Professor Muhammad Abu Jafar, saw him off at the airport. Joint Director of the National Institute of Neurosciences Hospital, Professor Badrul Alam, said Murad Islam will be given robotic rehabilitation therapy in the Vegthani Hospital. And now international news. There is an apprehension of nuclear war centering Ukraine-Russia war and another war between Israel and the Middle East powers. United States already given green signal to use ballistic missile by Ukraine against Russia. Replying this step, Moscow warned that they would not hesitate to use nuclear weapons to protect any aggression against Russia. Meanwhile, Russia says Ukraine has fired US-supplied long-range missiles into the country a day after Washington gave its permission for such attacks. Ukraine used the Army tactical missile system in a strike on Russia's Bryansk region this morning, the Ministry of Defense in Moscow said. 5 missiles were shot down and 1 damaged, with its fragments causing a fire at a military facility in the region, it said in a statement. The strike represents the first time the long-range missiles have been used on Russia's internationally recognized territory and comes shortly after Washington signaled Ukraine had permission to fire the ATACMS into Russia. The Monday, Moscow said any such attack would prompt an appropriate and tangible response. Ukraine has already been using ATACMS in Russian-occupied areas of its territory for more than a year. The missiles can hit targets at a range of up to 300 kilometers and are difficult to intercept. Kyiv is now able to strike deeper into Russia using the missiles, including around the Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces hold over 1,000 square kilometers of territory. Ukrainian and US officials reportedly expect a counter-offensive in the region. The United Nations said that over 200 children have been killed in Lebanon since Israel escalated attacks targeting Hezbollah in September. Despite more than 200 children killed in Lebanon in less than 2 months, a disconcerting pattern has emerged. Their deaths are met with inertia from those able to stop this violence, James Elder, spokesman for the UN Children's Agency UNICEF, told BSS reports. Over the last 2 months in Lebanon, an average of 3 children have been killed every single day, he said. Many more have been injured and traumatized, he added, highlighting that in the past 2 months, more than 1,100 children had been hurt. Hezbollah began firing rockets into Israel in October last year in support of the Palestinian militant group Hamas in Gaza. Since September, Israel has conducted bombing campaigns in Lebanon, primarily targeting Hezbollah strongholds, though some strikes have hit areas outside the Iran-backed group's control. Since the clashes began with Hezbollah attacks on Israel, more than 3,510 people in Lebanon have been killed, according to authorities in the country, with most fatalities recorded since late September. Elder said that since the Gaza war erupted after the Hamas attack of October 7 last year, at least 231 children had been killed in Lebanon. There is an issue of climate change which may disappoint you. The Great Barrier Reef could disappear by 2050. Some 44% of the world's warm water, reef-building coral species are facing risk of extinction, according to the latest update by the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. This is a significant increase compared to the last assessment in 2008, when a third were considered threatened. The latest assessment covers all known coral species that build colorful reefs in shallow, warm waters. In a statement, the IUCN said of the 892 coral species reassessed recently, at least 340 were found to be threatened. These include 56 species categorized as vulnerable, 251 as endangered, and 33 as critically endangered. The IUCN also took into consideration that some coral species classified as data deficient could be at risk of extinction, according to an emailed statement from the IUCN's Coral Specialist Group that referenced a newly published report. This is a midpoint figure within a range of 38% threatened species to 51% threatened species, the group which led the coral assessment said in a statement. A 17-year-old who is not allowed to speak in public in her own country has won a prestigious international award for advocating for the rights of Afghan girls. Neela Ibrahimi won the International Children's Peace Prize yesterday, an award that has recognized luminaries including climate activist Greta Thunberg and girls' education campaigner Malala Yousafzai. Ibrahimi received the honor for her courageous work to fight for the rights of girls in Afghanistan, where women are being silenced by oppressive rules set by the Taliban, who seized power in 2021. Before the takeover, Ibrahimi gained an online following after using her voice to pressure Kabul education authorities to overturn a ban on schoolgirls singing in public. Ibrahimi recorded herself singing and her brother uploaded the video to social media. The I Am My Song campaign caught on and within weeks the ban was overturned. That was the first time that I thought, wow, like if I do want it, if I do think this is the way I want to live, I can speak up and that can be accepted, she said in a video statement. Back to home news. The TCB has started selling per kg potatoes at Dhaka 40 at 50 spots in Dhaka from today. Commerce advisor Sheikh inaugurated the selling of potatoes along with other items in open trucks in the capital's Kauran Bazaar this morning. Commerce Secretary Salimuddin was present. The Commerce advisor said syndicates will be made ineffective through increasing supply of goods as well as ensuring market monitoring. He said coordinated efforts are underway to reduce sufferings of common people during the upcoming Ramadan. Ekaterina Semenova, Minister Counselor of the Embassy of Russia, called on Agriculture Advisor Lieutenant General Retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry today. During the call-on, the envoy gave proposal to export various types of fertilizers, including DAP and potash fertilizer, to Bangladesh. The advisor informed the envoy about importing quality fertilizer through G2G system within a short time from the supplying country. He requested the envoy to import country's seasonal fruits, particularly jackfruit. Agriculture Secretary Dr. Mohammad Imdadullah Mia was present during the call-on. The country's largest economic zone is being built on 33,000 acres of land in Mirasharai and Shitakundu upazilas of Chattogram and Shonagazi upazilas of Feni. The stakeholders made 13 recommendations, including the introduction of a regional air quality monitoring program to protect the environment of the economic zones. For this, the Department of Environment can set up an observation center. The recommendations were made at a national seminar on environmental and social assessment of the region. Bangladesh Economic Zones Authority BEZA of the Chief Advisor's Office organized the seminar at a hotel in the capital. It was informed in the seminar that these recommendations have been highlighted through about 200 workshops with people of different classes. BEZA Executive Chairman Chaudhry Ashik Mahmood bin Haroon presided over the workshop, while Chief Coordinator on SDG Affairs at the Chief Advisor's Office Lamia Murshid, Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change ASM Humayun Kabir, and Project Director of National Special Economic Zones Project Abdullah Al Mahmood Farooq, among others, spoke on the occasion. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Mahbooba Farzana has inaugurated the postgraduate diploma in broadcast journalism in the capital today. Dhaka School of Broadcast Journalism arranged the 7th course at National Institute of Mass Communication, NIMC. Addressing the program, the Information Secretary urged the journalists to return to mainstream by maintaining rules and ethics through self-rectification. Presided over by NIMC Director General Sufi Zakir Hussain, the program was addressed among others by Al-Amin Raqib, convener of Search Committee on Information and Broadcasting Ministry. And now, weather news. Met Office and its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country, having chances of right rain or drizzle at 1 or 2 places over Chattogram and Sylhet divisions. Light to moderate fog is likely at places over the country during early morning. Night and day temperature may fall slightly across the country, said the Met Office. And now sports news. Argentina beat Peru by 1-0 goal in the South American World Cup qualifying match in Buenos Aires today. The victory nearly secures Lionel Messi's team a spot in the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico and Canada. The first half of the match ended goalless. In the 55th minute, Lautaro Martinez scored the lone goal for Argentina. Argentina are leading South American qualifying with 25 points from 12 matches. The loss left Peru in the 10th and last position in the round-robin competition with 7 points. Meanwhile, Brazil drew 1-1 with Uruguay in the other match of South American qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. The first half of the match ended goalless. Frediro Valverde took the lead for Uruguay in the 55th minute of the match. In the 62nd minute, Gerson leveled the margin for Brazil. 5 times World Cup winners, Brazil are 5th in the CONMEBOL standings on the 18 points from 12 matches. Uruguay are 2nd on 20 points from the same matches. The top 6 team will automatically qualify for the FIFA World Cup 2026. Germany drew 1-1 with Hungary and the Netherlands drew 1-1 with Bosnia in the UEFA Nations League. Germany and the Netherlands had already confirmed the quarterfinals. The last match of the group of the two teams was a formality. Meanwhile, Sweden defeated Azerbaijan by 6-0 goals. Victor Gijkers scored 4 goals for Sweden. Wales beat Iceland by 4-1 and Ukraine beat Albania by 2-1 goals. To end the bulletin headlines once again. Advisory Council gives final approval to the draft ordinance that seeks to amend International Crimes Tribunal's Act. International Crimes Tribunal orders to complete investigation against 8 officials, including former police chief and NTMC Director General, within a month. President and Chief Advisor give separate messages